Hi, I'm glad you're joining me today. I'm Sandy McDaniel. And last time we were together, we talked about spanking. And remember that I said, I don't think spanking is right or wrong. I just think it's unnecessary. And I gave you some of the reasons from my research that you might look at it differently if you are a believer and you want to spank your children and all of that. And I said, my belief in that it's not appropriate isn't a dividing place for us. There are many things I can teach you, whether you believe in that or not. And another one of them is what we're going to do today. To be proactive. It's such a hard thing to do when you're in the of life. To head off a problem before it actually arrives or before it gets worse. When I was in my 20s, I taught elementary school. But see, I'd come out of college, and in college, you teach yourself to focus because the dormitory is crazy. You know, they're women going around, yap, 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 and all over there's noise all over the place. So you teach yourself to go and focus. Well, now I've got a classroom of 38 fourth graders, and I'd be talking to one kid, and the whole class could have left because I was so focused on what I was doing. And how I noticed it was that problems would brew up in the classroom that, had I headed them off, wouldn't have been so extreme. So what I literally taught myself to do was to be talking to the one child and constantly surveying and watching my class. That's a learned skill. You would be very wise if you taught yourself that skill. Because a problem that is headed off, that is circumvented before it erupts into something huge, makes your life easier in the long run. But it's a hard thing to learn. It's a hard thing to do. When my grandchildren come running into the room, I turn and look to see what they're doing. And by doing that, I'm checking out what's going on. I had the experience recently of visiting them, and the two grandchildren came running in the room. And Chelsea, who's about 2.5, was in front of Nicholas, who was on a dead run right behind her, and he's 4. Okay? Now, Chelsea thinks it's fun to take whatever Nicholas has in his hands, take it, grab it, and run with it. It's a new game that she has thought up. He doesn't think it's a fun game. So he's chasing her down. Eventually, he will catch her, and then he would just beat the snot out of her, okay? So I turned, saw this was happening, walked around the counter, scooped up, kicking, because he was kicking because I stopped him in his motion, Nicholas, and I put him down, and I said, wait, just a second, listen to me. I said, listen to me. I said, Chelsea's little. She doesn't know how to be a human being. So she's looking around for the coolest, most awesome person around. She chose you. So you have a toy, she says, must be good, because he has it, grabs it, and runs with it. It's not an appropriate behavior. That's my job, to teach her that. But you don't have to be so angry with her. She's just doing it because she wants what you want. Because you're, and he filled in the blank, awesome. And I laughed out loud. Yes, you're awesome. So it's unnecessary. And I said, watch this, Nicholas. I said, Chelsea, bring the toy back to Nicholas and give it to him right now, please. She looked at me, walked right over, and handed it to him. I said, see, we didn't have to have a war. But by paying attention to what was going to happen and jumping in, I stopped the war zone from happening. And Chelsea needed a consequence for her choice, but it didn't need to be to create a fight with Nicholas and then have a consequence for both of them on top of that. It's a hard thing to teach, but it begins by being proactive. We have a place on Catalina Island, a family home on Catalina Island, so I go back and forth a lot. And one day I was going over on the boat, and I was sitting reading a book, and I saw this cute young dad. He had 4 kids. Okay, so he lined up the kids, and he lined up these piles of things that they were supposed to take off the boat. And he said, you're going to take this, and you're going to take this, and you're going to take this, and you're going to take this. And look up there. You see up on the dock, you see there's a trash bag, blue trash bag, or trash can. And he said, if anything happens and we get separated, you see the ramps going right up by that trash can, you just wait there for me. And he said, And if you get in trouble, what's the word? And all 4 kids said, Daisy. And he said, okay, gave them all high fives. And he turned around to walk over to his stuff while I was sitting right there. And he looked at me and I said, good job, Dad. And he said, learned it from you. Well, I already knew that because the Daisy technique is mine. See, if a child is in a crowd and yells, Mom, Dad, that's just one more kid yelling, Mom, Dad. You don't hear it. You don't want them to yell, help, 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 unless they're really in trouble, because then you'll learn to turn a deaf ear to that. But a child standing there going, Daisy, 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 stands out in the crowd and will get the help that they need. But the more important thing is that this dad was being proactive. He was saying, I got to get 4 kids and all this junk off this boat. So he had a plan for that, and he involved the children in the plan rather than starting off and then you're not fitting my plan. Well, how can they do that? You didn't tell them what the plan was. But he gave them a job. He gave them a way to be safe. He coached them. And these little kids just all went off the boat with the dad. And, you know, it was a miracle. And everybody's looking at it. That guy has 4 little kids and they're behaving. Well, they were given the tools that they needed. Anytime you're going to do anything where you need the cooperation of your children, you need to be proactive. Don't go to the market and hope you'll have fun. The market has thousands of things that are interesting to children. They have textures, you know, a banana is smooth and a package crinkles and something's cold and something's rough. I mean, there are 1,000 things to touch in the market. So the children are overstimulated in the market. Don't walk in the market and not have a plan. I would start in the parking lot and I would show them a piece of paper. This is the piece of paper. These are the things we need in the market. It's called a budget. Your dad earns so much money. He comes home, he brings it. We have to spend it for certain things. To have the house, the rent for the house. Don't get technical. They don't need to know all of it. But we have money that goes here and money that goes there. Money for food. We need to pay attention to how much money we spend. We can't just endlessly spend money. It's a budget. Children need to be taught that money doesn't grow on the tree in the backyard. And you're teaching it by modeling it. Another lesson, it's here again, by modeling it. So you say, if it's on our list, we're buying it. If it's not, we're not. So when the child goes in, and they just saw the TV show this morning that has something in the box of Cheerios, and they don't care what the Cheerios may be, but the box of Cheerios itself has something in it. And so you go down the aisle and they go, Cheerios! You know, and you look at your list and say, oh, darn! It's not on the list. Maybe next week. If they're little, they can't read the list, so they don't know if you cheat. If they're older, you're going to have to be more judicious with how you write your list and not get something, or say, I didn't think of this and I need it for something, because they will catch you cheating. But basically, that doesn't matter. One of the games we used to play is the Velcro game. You know, Velcro is the 2 pieces of material that go together, and when you pull them apart, they go like that. So the kids would have Velcro on the sides of their legs, and I would have it on the shopping cart because I had to push the cart. So we'd say before we go in the market, okay, everybody Velcro up, and the kids would go, and I go. Now, when I walked in the market, right as I go in, there's always something that would tempt me. Donuts, something. So I would just spot them and go, oh no, donuts. Oh, donuts. Oh gosh, donuts. Well, now the kids would come and say, you can do it, we can get past it. Come on, you can do it. I don't know, I'm having trouble, donuts. Do you think it looks stupid going in the market and going with Velcro? Yeah, you look stupid. But what you're doing is you're teaching your children how to go past those impulses, how to not just follow every impulse and harm your life. And so you go in the market, you get in the market, you're going down the line. One of the kids has trouble. Oh no, peanut butter. Oh no. And it's okay. You play a game. Or another thing with the Cheerios. Let's say the kid picks up the Cheerios and you say it's not on the list. Now the child has 2 options, to mind or not to mind. You know which one they take when they have this choice, right? They don't mind. all right? Because they're rooted into it. I don't care you don't have it on the list. Then you say, look down the aisle and see anything that you need. Don't need Cheerios, but you know, peanut butter's on the list. Peanut butter is what made me think of it. Peanut butter's on the list. And you say, would you put the Cheerios down? Go get some peanut butter, please. You don't need peanut butter, or you don't want the kind they're going to pick up. It doesn't matter. You can walk around the corner and put the peanut butter back on the shelf, a different shelf somewhere. But you got the child to let go of one thing and go to another. Children have a hard time because they're so focused, letting go of something and moving to the next thing. If you give them a bridge to do that, they can do that. Let's say your child's in the park and you say, it's time to go. Well, I'm having the best time I ever had in my entire life, and I'm really having fun. And to go where? I don't know where I'm going. I'm not doing that. But if you say to a child, you know, ahead of time, we have 5 minutes, then we have 1 minute, then I'm sorry, it's time to go. I can see you're having fun. It's time to go. Now, that's still not enough. So the bridge, children are creative, they're playful. Do you want to hop like a grasshopper? Do you want to fly like a jet plane? Do you want to, whatever. A child will jump up and zoom all over the park getting to the car because they're a jet plane. But because fun to fun is something they can do. They can't just do it. If they break a rule while they're in the market, then you're going to use the coin system. No, the rules are you sit if you hit and we're kind to each other. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back to the training session. And if you don't know what I'm talking about with the coins, to keep track of which child broke which rule, each child is assigned a different coin, penny, nickel, dime. So if Gail breaks a rule and she's a dime, then I put a dime in my pocket. When I get home, I take all the coins out of my pocket, and those children have consequences for their negative choices in the market. Again, go to the training section, read Don't Feed the Dragon. Either place, you're going to understand what lingo I just used there. In today's rat race, it seems impossible to siphon out, to say, well, I don't, it's like, how can I possibly look for the problems before they happen? I'm barely doing this. If you can train yourself to watch for it, and I'm not sure how to do that, teach you to do how to do that, except that you need to do that. Pay attention to a little friction that's going to be a big friction and head it off. First of all, you'll have a calmer, less angry, less harmful, less chaotic home. More important, you will teach your children the things they need to know without having it become a big combustible thing in order to learn the lesson. Lessons can be learned in an easier, more gracious way if you are proactive. So, for your homework, obvious, I want you to look at something you're going to do tomorrow. Something you know you're going to do tomorrow. Now, how can you be proactive in that one space? What could you do to make that work better? How do you get the kids to get in the car, to get someplace, to get on time? How do you get them to not fight the whole time when they're in the car? How are you going to be proactive with this? The best way is to communicate with them. This is where we're going. They're the rules. This is what I expect from you. This is what's going to happen if you don't comply. Then they're not just free-falling. I went with some friends to Universal Studios. That's an easy place to go, or Disneyland or any of those, with two people, because it's really simple. If you're on one ride and you break a rule, guess what's happening on the next ride? You're with me in the penalty box, and the rest of the family is going. And we did that with one family in the very first ride. We had no problems with a whole family of 5 kids for the whole day at Universal Studios, because I said to them, we're going to do this, and you don't want to miss a ride. That was the consequence. Being proactive will head off the problems that become more major in your whole process. This is such a hard job. Didn't have any idea when you took it on. None of us did. And hopefully the time you're spending with me will help you not only do it easier, but do it better. And down the road, you won't be saying to yourself, oh my goodness, I ruined a human being. We can do this together. I have the experience, and I care about you. Take gentle care of you.